Hello, guys. I'm here to talk about what happened this weekend. There's a lot of thoughts going on in my mind about what has happened in Charlottesville. It's important that we have this discussion, that people are willing to talk. More people need to come out to the battlefield now. There is no longer time for people to sit on the sidelines. At this point, we're getting to a point where which side are you on? You don't get to sit on the sideline and condemn both sides. And as far as from a lot of positions that from from the position that some people are sitting on, including myself, there aren't two sides. There one side's right and one side's wrong. But let's go ahead and start with what happened in Charlottesville. The alt-right, white supremacists, racists, neo-Nazis, bigots, you name it, the neo-KKK, they planned a rally to protest the removal of a Confederate statue. The statue was of Robert E. Lee, one of the leaders of the Confederate Army. Okay, so we're setting the stage. They came out here with torches, no mask, marching around like they were looking for a witch. Or they look like the KKK without hoods on. That's what they look like. Like, I was telling people, like, I was on my social media and I said, compare a picture of what you saw in Charlottesville to all those people with their torches. Compare that to a KKK rally when they're out here with their torches, with their hoods on, and besides the attire, you couldn't tell the difference. The difference is that instead of having hoods on and looking like these bizarre aliens that nobody could relate to, they showed their faces. They looked a lot like your uncle, your brother, your husband, your cousin, slick hairstyle, suit and ties, or a t-shirt and jeans. They look like they could have been walking around with everyday Americans, because that's exactly who they are. That's always who they have been. But now all of a sudden we're in an atmosphere where they feel encouraged, or they feel okay enough to march around and be racist and proud about it. And the worst part about this is that a lot of people saw this coming. Why? Because there's precedent for this. Like I said, go back and look at Ku Klux Klan rally pictures. Marching around with their torches like they're looking for a witch. Like they're looking for a victim to beat down. Which there were some victims beaten down in this incident. The guy ran over that girl with that van, excuse me. And then some white supremacists beat up this black guy with a pole. There was a lot of violence happening in there. And another thing, I noticed this too. For all that stuff that we saw coming because it was planned a while ago. I don't remember seeing a lot of pictures of police. I don't recall the National Guard being called in. I don't recall these people getting tear gas or anything. I don't remember seeing pictures of that. The law enforcement agencies there were not creating a hostile environment. Honestly, the hostile environment was already there when these people got together and decided to march around like the Ku Klux Klan. But the police, they didn't do anything. Which that was interesting compared to the Black Lives Matter rallies when people are out here marching in the streets for black men or women who have been killed unjustly, and they get met with tear gas and with complete hostility. They get viewed as the enemy. They have a just cause. Their fellow man or fellow woman has been killed out here in these streets, and there's been no consequences for that. And you name it, I'm not going down the list, but you name it, we've been down here before, and every single time these protests get met with hostility, or people out here on their Facebook with their MLK quotes. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. There's a cause for that. What the people in Charlottesville were marching for was against the removal of a statue. Not only a statue, an inanimate object, but one that glorified a Confederate soldier, one that glorified a traitor to the United States of America. The reason the Confederacy even existed was to protect the institution of slavery. And every Declaration of Succession, you can look it up. And we don't even get to teach this stuff. I can hear my U.S. history teacher say right now, the Civil War was about states' rights, not slavery. It was about states' rights. It was about states' rights about slavery. So I guess you can get away with saying I'm telling the half truth, but when you say not slavery, you're doing a lot of people a disservice. You're doing me a disservice because you can't tell me where my ancestors have come from or what they have been through. And then you're doing a lot of other people a disservice because you're showing them that this hatred, this violence, this hostility has not been here before. So what happens is when stuff like this past weekend happens, all these people are coming out saying, oh my God, I've never seen this before. This is not my America. And a lot of us are sitting over here like, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. There's precedent for this. It's always been here. It's not necessarily people marching out here with torches, but it's certainly people out here spouting hateful rhetoric or backing people with hateful rhetoric. How do you think Donald Trump is president right now? It's not the economics. The economics don't check out. And I can have that debate all day long. Try me on that. Racism and bigotry won out. And I'm not saying, I hate saying this, but I'm going to say it. Not all Trump people vote for that, but at the very least, they co-signed it. Which meant that was not a deal breaker, which meant that if this violence and stuff happened, they'll be sitting on the sidelines. The best they can do is call it out from a distance on Facebook or Twitter when they had a chance to go to the poll and send a loud message that stuff wasn't allowed in the first place. So yeah, I'm angry about it. I'm really angry about it. It's ridiculous. And what this statue is really about is about the alt-right, and I hate, the alt-right is such a euphemism, I hate it. These bigots coming out here and acting like their history is being destroyed, is being erased, like their identity is being gone. I'm sitting here like, how does your identity, how in the world do you let your identity expand to such a treasonous, bigoted fellow, or such a treasonous, bigoted entity? It's okay to have ancestors that were Confederate soldiers that fought for the Confederacy. You couldn't help that. But to turn around and like rah and be like, we need all our Confederate monuments. Statues are built to glorify. There is nothing to glorify about the Confederacy. Nothing. There is nothing to glorify about them. They are a disgrace. And every monument, every statue, every building name, every street name you name is a disgrace and an indictment against the United States of America, that we allow treasonous bigots to hold such high positions. We put them in a position, it changes history. Like people said, the change in history is not being made by removing these monuments. The change in history was made by having these monuments up in the first place. Removing these monuments is correcting history. Because what history as it is right now, with these Robert E. Lee statues and Robert E. Lee Day in Arkansas and Lee Street in Greensboro, what used to be, you're telling me, you're trying to make it sound like that Lee was a good guy or the Confederacy was good, and there was just nothing good about them. Not in the cause they fought. They were out here really trying to justify slavery, really trying to keep it going. It is awful. And nobody should want to jump on that bandwagon and defend that. Nobody. And the first speech, BS, y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. I am not here for that. I do not use the First Amendment to justify hate speech. Not when that hate speech has centuries of precedent. Centuries. of leading to bad consequences with people like me and other minorities. I don't get it. And people who always jump to the First Amendment or, use the First Amendment to protect freedom of speech or something like that, always say it from a place of privilege. They know that even if that hate speech turns to action, it will never be used against them. At least not in the short run. In the long run, yeah, it will. But nobody thinks about that. They always think about short-term receipts. There are a lot of people who are okay with Trump being president. You know why? Because all the racist, bigoted, sexist stuff they said will never be an assault on them. It will never come against them. It will never come back on them. Because they are straight, cisgender, Christian, white male. How about the rest of us? Or better, how about the white women, the 47% of white women who didn't vote for sexism? Who didn't co-sign it, at the very least. What about them? How about the 96% of black women who told y'all and warned y'all, don't vote for this. Don't vote for a circus. And they got to deal with the consequences anyway, on multiple levels. For being black and being women. And God forbid they be gay or trans. It's absolutely ridiculous. And what people will come out and say is and be like, Obama's out here with hate speech and stuff. There's no precedent for that. What happened in Charlottesville this weekend, there has never been any precedent for that in the history of the United States of America for a counter. You've never seen, first of all, Obama has never preached anti-white politics. That has never happened, ever. And two, you don't have people of color marching around to protect people who absolutely have this unregarded hate and superiority complex over white people the way the alt-right did this Saturday when they marched around in their torches in support of a monument of a guy who believed in the inferiority of my race and believed in the enslavement of my people. There's no precedent for that. But yet people keep acting like, well, what about this and what about that? There's no precedent for that. This country's existed for hundreds of years. Find me the receipts. They don't exist. But I can give you all the receipts on what happened this weekend. Go look at some research. I know our textbooks like dumbing it down and make it look good so everybody feel better about themselves and not realize the BS that people really had to come through in this country. Go do some research. Go to your library. Go look at some books about what really happened. Go see some pictures and some documents. Go watch some documentaries and stuff. Watch Selma. Just go watch some of this stuff. Go see what really happened. This completely whitewashed BS. My U.S. history class was a lie. We teach propaganda for history. And then get upset when people who really know the facts and stuff call it out for that. Never mind, they've been on the back end of all this bigotry for centuries. Centuries. It gets on my nerves. And last point I want to make before I get off of here. The reason Trump got here is because the white collective put them here. And what I mean by the white collective is, if I was to isolate white people as a group, white people voted for this guy. Every other group isolated voted for Hillary. They did not vote for a circus. They did not vote for racism. They did not vote for bigotry. And the white men, I don't know, white men got to figure it out. Now, I got to stop. I don't want to make them all one, because again, not all. I got to keep saying that, not all. I think 61% vote for Trump, but that means that 39% did not. So, kudos to the 39% who did not vote for that. White women, I still can't figure out how women of any color could vote for that with all the sexism this man spewed from his mouth. But 53% of white women voted for that. And kudos for the 47% of white women who did not and know better. And for the 47% of white women and the 39% of white men who did not vote for this circus, y'all gotta check the people who did vote for this circus. Because these can be your aunts and your uncles and your brothers and your sisters. These can be your wives and your husbands. These can be your daughters. These can be your granddaughters. These can be your grandparents. You got to check this behavior. Because if you don't check this behavior, we keep putting up with it. That racism is learned. It's not, people are not born with it. It's learned. It's passed down from generation to generation. The reason why we're able to have what happened this weekend is because people were able to pass that racism down generation through generation through generation. And if it was up to me, that stuff would have been gone. If I had a chance, if black people or any other color had a chance to make that mess disappear, we would have done that a long time ago. So this is not on us. Now, we will keep doing, and I will keep doing whatever I can to spread the message and educate people on what's going on. Try to make this world a better place. But it's not on me to end racism because I can't do it. I can only call it out and identify it. It is on the privileged party to make that mess disappear. It is on the privileged party to do better about this stuff and make sure that stuff like this past weekend doesn't happen. To not vote for a circus and alternative facts instead of logic. To not vote for a reality TV show when our government's better at being efficient and boring. Because that's what government should be. It should be efficient and boring. It's not supposed to be you're fired every other week. And connections to Russia and affirmative action is hurting white people when we know that it's not. This has to be fixed. This has to be rectified. And this is the burden is not on me. I'm tired of it, and we get tired of this because this stuff comes up and it challenges our dignity. And we've had enough. Like the idea of them going out there openly marching with those torches like the KKK is an indictment. That is a challenge to our dignity. And people are tired of that. There's going to be a response. People are not going to just sit down and be quiet. Like, I'm not going to sit here. I don't want to tell you that this is a war. It's a war. But if the only thing people do is shout from social media about we are not this, a war is a coming. A war is a coming. We got to do better. And if you see this video, if you hear me speak and you feel touched, if you get hurt, you get offended, if something's wrong, you call me up, contact me, tell me you want to have a conversation to me. I am not entertaining BS comments and alternative facts on any comments underneath any video like this that I'm making. Because I'm done with alternative facts. I'm tired of it. Alternative facts does nothing for me. It hurts me. And lip service doesn't help me. It hurts me. I don't want lip service. I want action. I want better than what I've gotten. I deserve better than what happened on November 4th. I deserve better than what happened this weekend. We deserve better than this. All Americans deserve better than this. You want to know why? Because if last weekend happens over and over again, it hurts all of us in the long run. The alt-right is a detriment to the national republic. So what you going to do about it?